That's the message. strut your stuff. Don't hold back. Fucking like that rooster over there. Dude doesn't give a fuck. It's 4:30 when he starts. Brand new poem, y'all. Brand new. So I went twice. You can see the goosebumps. 2 rounds, right? I should probably do more. But that critical, it's all about the breath, right? That's the ultimate polarity. All things are breathing. And on that out breath, right? I mean, the struggle is real. That's why it's such a good training method. If you ain't doing it, right? Start calling you Randall again. So it's every morning it's darker at 6. When you do something with constancy or consistency, constant, consist, you notice the subtle changes, and that's what, when you do Qigong, right, the subtle changes are there, and I'm no master. The struggle is real, but that critical out breath, when you let it come out like a gossamer spider web, that's when the fight stops, kind of, and you can feel it, in a way. I don't know if you've ever had those electrodes hooked up to your head and you try to get into a certain frequency of brainwaves. If any of you have gone to fucking therapy or some shit, some of the therapists employ that method to try to get you into theta or something, theta waves. It's like a video game. It's just flexing your brain, try to get it into the right frequency. It's pretty much that, it's kind of like that. Some cool lighting right now. There's the complementary colors, and the degree at which that occurs, right? A peach-colored sunset or an orange sunset has purple clouds, and we have that same effect, except the saturation is turned down to 1, right? Color saturation, all of you artists out there. But so all of those poems I have been reading, I guess I overdid it because I read them all. So I wrote a new one this morning, just came out. It's a concept that a friend of mine introduced me to back when we were 20, no, 18 or 19. Rock climbing, has all these terms that are relevant, and it's not my sport. My arms are too long and my bones are too heavy, and You don't use that word T-O-O-O, right? But that's just a fact for me. It's not my sport, but you find me rock climbing using my knees. But there's a term, right? If you're gonna, alright, I'll just read this motherfucker. The bulge, the overhang on vertical approach, the event caused by the attempt to climb. There is not this if a body does not. The crux. Right, so in every climb there's that critical event, right, that doesn't occur without the attempt. Ooh, yeah, that's fucking sweet. And every time there's the event that doesn't occur without the attempt, that critical moment where you can freeze or take the risk, right? You could be there for minutes and hours and your muscles are shaking. The longer you wait, right, the more you're quaking. Right? The longer you wait, the higher the risk, right? Don't wait, don't wait. Get over the bulge, right? Attempt the overhang. Vertical jump using your arms. Conquer the crux. So yeah, in a life it's the same thing. And in a day, in a minute, right? There's no event without the attempt. That overhang is just sitting there right now with no one on it. Right? The bolt's just there with no carabiners clipped in. Right? It doesn't happen without the intention. So, right, acausal intent. Right, that's the paradox, right? What is not an example of will if it isn't rock climbing, you know? But you know, those free climbers, some of them perish, but others like break world records, you know. And it's like Cristiano Ronaldo of rock climbing. I don't know, like that guy, he seems like an arrogant dude, but he's probably one of the sweetest guys you would ever meet if you got to know him, you know. He just he gets the ball in the box, man. Motherfucker's gonna score. Dude cuts like a knife through defense. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but like, yeah, what is his purpose right here, right? What is Messi's purpose? Like, I'm actually more of a fan of Messi than Ronaldo. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic, right? He's my favorite. You guys don't know soccer players? You guys don't know footballers? This guy, look him up. He is the fucking best, man. Because, right, he gets it. Right? He understands what it is. And he's just playing a role, right? He's just playing a role out there. And people piss on, you know, other players, they don't like him, right? They like, he's just a clown to them. But in those critical games, right, he scores goals, and sometimes are the craziest goals ever. And right, he talks about himself in the third person. It's such a funny fucking thing. Zlatan. If Zlatan If Zlatan is going to go to Inter, Zlatan will go to Inter. But I don't know why I'm talking about all of that. It's just that, with these big, larger than life personalities, right? What I'm talking about can be, it's like a refutation of what I'm saying, right? Because these guys, they seem like they're all ego, all will. But they're just playing a role, So make the attempt. No, like Pele got it, like Gravel, right? But you're bringing up these old dudes, right? Maradona was, yeah, right? Like he didn't care. Like just look, he lived his life, But the hand of God, the hand of God, right? Right? That goal that he scored to win, he had to live with that. Right? He had to live with that. Right? That was a handball. That was a handball. We all saw it. Pele was playing in a time, it was a different time, It was a different fucking time. But that audacity, right? When you're a footballer, and you're playing with 10 other dudes, and you make moves like that, a rainbow in the middle of the field, or you just run down the field with the ball bouncing on your head, like Pele did, right? That's that's unexpected, right? The defense does not expect that. And so when you do the unexpected, you score goals. And so you take those kinds of risks, right? Another footballer who's like really good, and his his explosive speed on the ball is sickening, right? But he's one of the worst personalities in the game. Yeah, Suarez, right? Suarez, right? The guy who bites dudes on the field. Like actually bites guys with his teeth, And he's the dude in the 2010 World Cup, right? Who purposely handballed, right? He was in position. He couldn't have stopped the goal. It was going to go in. It was going to go past him, but he handballed it. And it was a calculated, strategic, decision on his part. He knew he'd get a red card, but it was a risk that, right, that you get a penalty kick, right? And so he was taking that risk that on the chance that they would miss the penalty kick, and they did, right? And you see him in the fucking tunnel celebrating, right? It made me sick, man. I don't know if you guys remember that. Right, celebrating that they missed the penalty because his decision turned out to be, right, a winning decision, right? They advanced. And soccer, it's good that I'm talking about soccer, actually, because it is a metaphor for life. I don't know, right? If you grow up in America, you don't get the appreciation of it, right? Goals are rare in soccer, right? And that's what makes them so fucking awesome. That's why these dudes celebrate so hard when they score them, right? It's 1 in 7 for a striker, that's the average. That's the ratio. 1 in 7, they score out of 1 out of 7 attempts, And some strikers have a higher ratio, but that's, on average. And so in America, we want, we're sensationalized. We want fucking scoring all the time, right? But in soccer, if you appreciate the game, it's those little things that happen on the field that are just as radical, And sometimes they don't lead to goals, but they probably should, You see a fucking sickening move, and they get all the way in, and then they miss, And that's when, right? Their psychological sense of self has entered at that moment, right? And that's why they miss, because they are worried about missing, right? If you get the ball in the box and you're thinking about missing, you fucking will. You will. But yeah, it's a metaphor for life. It's like the same events happen, right? You are an individual and a collective at once, right? And this is what I say. This is a phrase that I came up with, and I'm not taking credit, right? But I haven't heard anyone else say this, and especially Alexi Lawless, right? Like one of the most famous American footballers, right? He commented on Suarez's decision, right, in the 2010, because he was a commentator, and he was like, I think it was a good decision, and I wanted to, like, gut punch that motherfucker. You know, you don't get soccer, bro, because you grew up in America. The reason our national team gets smoked on the international scale is because our coaches don't understand the game, right? They're trying to coach it like it's fucking football, you know, American football. You know, they don't get it, and they're stratifying the team. They have hierarchy. They don't understand what actually makes a team gel, right? And so the best coaches, right, that we've seen in this country are basketball coaches, and basketball is the most akin to soccer. It's just like way faster, right? Way smaller. So like Phil Jackson, right? His main thing was his players, right? He would create an environment where his players knew they could win. You know, they just knew. And you see him at the end of his career now. It's over, basically. He lost that edge. He lost that ability. I don't know why. But what I'm saying is that the reason the American national team sucks on the international stage is because our culture doesn't understand what soccer is. You know? So the phrase that I'm referring to is, opportunity only ever comes in the form of a pass. Right? Ronaldo can't fucking score unless he receives the ball. Right? So, yeah, I'm going to do an episode on football. I have a poem that I wrote about it. Right, so it's been said, right, that a bird doesn't fly but is flown, right? A human being doesn't love but is loved, right? A player doesn't play, right, but is played, right? So when you're in that moment, when you're in the zone as a footballer, right, you're not playing, you're being played. Right? You're being played, and you're unstoppable. And you know, a hero doesn't save, right, but is saved, right? Most heroes perish before they ever get to the position to do what they're set out to do. You know? They have to be permitted. They have to be permitted by whom they are trying to save. So they have to be saved, right? Before they can save. A hero doesn't save, but is saved, right? A human being doesn't love, but is loved. So, there is no crux if you don't make the attempt, right? Take that risk. Take that risk. What's today? Monday? What is it, Monday? Yeah. Football tomorrow. maybe, you know, out on the eco park field. Yeah, Luis Suarez. Fuck that guy. Big old teeth all. Fucking. Somebody said I play like him though, but you know, I'm only like 8 inches taller. But I have that explosive speed on the ball. Right? It's quickness, really. Alright, you guys. Catch you later.